The anime opens with a metropolis ablaze, ravaged by hideous, monstrous beings. Panic grips the streets as terrified citizens fight for survival. Amidst this inferno, a colossal figure gloats, savoring the terror and desperation it has unleashed. It proclaims its ambition to sever every connection and bond in existence, its ultimate objective. Just then, a squad reminiscent of the Power Rangers appears to challenge the monstrosity, resolute in their mission to halt the carnage. Their commander, Red, summons their individual robotic units to amplify their power. The group merges with these mechanical companions, becoming the Maximum Power Ranger. Brandishing the power sword, they brace for a decisive strike. The creature retaliates with potent azure energy blasts, which the team narrowly avoids. They land a blow, but the beast strikes back with savage force, severing one of the Maximum Ranger's arms and drastically diminishing their strength. Grasping the dire circumstances, the team resolves that Red must face the beast alone, despite their anxious protests. Red bravely advances. The monster derides his courage, but Red retorts, declaring the world's collective hopes and connections as his wellspring of power. Their final confrontation is ferocious, leaving Red critically injured. Against all odds, Red delivers a fatal strike, vanquishing the monster and its lair. Weakened and near death, he entrusts the future to his teammates, seemingly sacrificing himself in the process. In his last moments, Red laments his wish to stay with his friends just a little while longer. Miraculously, Red awakens in a peculiar, ancient land, bewildered and disoriented. He understands he has somehow lived, taking in his strange surroundings. He murmurs in astonishment, questioning where he is and how he survived. Elsewhere in this world, a mechanical entity known as Golem assaults a band of adventurers. The group struggles to defend themselves, observed by a young woman named Edra. Displeased with their performance, she orders Golem to cease. Addressing the adventurers, she sharply rebukes their inadequacy. One adventurer, boasting noble ancestry, objects, but Edra waves off the assertion with apathy. She instructs Golem to eject them, which it does instantly. Afterward, Edra contemplates a portrait of her father and ponders summoning an adventurer. Her aide interrupts, stating that summoning is currently infeasible because an adventurer from a different realm has already materialized. This newcomer, within a mere 6 months, has garnered immense acclaim and redefined expectations. The scene cuts to a cloaked individual nearing the area, revealed to be Red. He witnesses Golem expelling the adventurers and instantly engages it in combat. The fierce struggle sends Golem crashing into Edra's dwelling. Red cautions Edra and her aide to flee, explaining Golem's dangerous nature and propensity for abductions. Edra, however, dismisses his warning, disclosing that Golem serves her, used for administering trials. Red is surprised by this disclosure but remains intent on subduing the mechanical entity. Throughout the fight, Edra is astounded by Red's speed and dexterity. Her aide softly informs her that this is the adventurer they were expecting. Red sheds his cloak, stating, "So, my evaluation has already commenced." Edra retorts, "No, you're the one who initiated it." As Red readies his transformation, Edra watches in stunned silence, perplexed by his words and demeanor. When his transformation completes, her astonishment intensifies as he exhibits no trace of magical energy. Edra examines Red's equipment and garb, observing their lack of magical attributes. She is baffled by his seamless transformation without magic and resolves to observe him closely to unravel the enigma. Red then unleashes a blazing attack, obliterating Golem with a single, destructive blast. Edra is paralyzed with shock, unable to grasp what she just saw. As Red reverts to his regular form, he inquires if he has successfully completed the trial. Edra, still absorbing the events, confirms his success. Overjoyed, Red introduces himself, and Edra reciprocates, introducing herself and her attendant, Poseidon. Later, Red is seated in Edra's office, divulging his origins in another world. His revelation astonishes everyone present. Edra, though, finds the claim believable, remarking that his capabilities surpass anything their world could generate. She notes his unusual etiquette and conduct further corroborate his claim. Edra then draws a comparison to an age-old tale of a hero from another realm who sealed the Demon King, leaving Red stunned by the parallel. Edra then criticizes, incidentally, "What is with your garish attire? Why is everything crimson?" Caught off guard, Red clarifies, "Back home, this look was quite popular, particularly with youngsters, and red was a favored color." Edra dismisses his explanation, urging him to concentrate on the tasks ahead. Edra assigns Red his first assignment, to acquire mana metal. Curious about this substance, Red requests further information. Edra's aide explains that mana metal is a recently discovered material, formed when magical mana coursing through the earth erupts in volatile bursts and solidifies into crystalline structures. Edra expands on this, clarifying her need for these crystals for research purposes. If the crystals prove magically beneficial, they could be invaluable. If hazardous, the royal family must be notified. She stresses that studying mana metal is part of her family's heritage and a vital duty. Red is excited by the mission and enthusiastically observes to Edra, "So, you are safeguarding the link between magic and humanity." Edra confirms his observation with a nod. Inspired by her concurrence, Red declares his preparedness and, without delay, vaults out the window and transforms. Edra is briefly stunned by his impulsive behavior. As he urges her to make haste, she reluctantly consents, still adjusting to his unconventional methods. Summoning a turbine-powered craft, Red readies for the expedition. Edra, observing in disbelief, remarks sarcastically, "You're even more peculiar than mana metal itself with these outlandish actions." Dismissing her commentary, Red grabs Edra and takes flight towards the crystal's location. Alarmed and perplexed, Edra demands an explanation for his abrupt actions. The pair swiftly arrives at their destination, with Red radiating enthusiasm. "We made it here fast since we didn't run into any monsters," he exclaims. Edra, exasperated, corrects him, "You idiot! We encountered 3 airborne monsters, and you collided with each and every one." Undeterred by her reprimand, Red presses onward, eager to investigate the site known as Dimu's. Edra pauses, talking to herself, lamenting that everything Red does depletes her mental and physical reserves, leaving her incapable of understanding him. Despite this, she joins him inside Dimu's, where she combats a lone monster using her magical incantations, successfully vanquishing it. Simultaneously, Red utilizes his Power Ranger skills to eliminate a large cluster of monsters with various techniques. This puzzles Edra, as she wonders how many monsters Red dispatched while she grappled with just one. However, she reminds herself not to complain, since his endeavors benefited her. Red then executes a final assault with his unique armament, annihilating all the monsters in a fiery explosion. Edra observes with frustration, noting that his unusual weapon destroyed the monsters in a manner that incinerated and rendered useless the resources they left behind. After the battle, Red remarks that these creatures were remarkably weak, akin to the foot soldiers of the faction known as the Severer of Bonds. This confuses Edra, prompting her to inquire about the monster's perceived weakness and the identity of this Severer of Bonds. Red explains that this being is the head of an organization that strives to deprive individuals of their connections and relationships to exert control over them. He recounts how he rose to confront them with the support of his companions, forming a group called the Kizuna 5. Edra, however, admits her lack of comprehension. Red continues, explaining that all of this transpired 6 months prior, just before his arrival in this world. He expresses his hope for his friend's safety. Hearing this, Edra asks, "If you are so devoted to them, why not seek a way back to your own world?" Red explains that he attempted to return numerous times upon his initial arrival, but every effort proved futile. He concedes that the longer he remains in this world, witnessing its troubles, the more he recognizes the myriad issues requiring resolution and the numerous individuals needing aid, just as in his own world. Red concludes there must be a purpose behind his arrival, and until he discovers it, he will not try to go back. He states his intention to continue assisting people as he journeys through this world, certain that he will eventually find a way home. Edra comments on Red's casual attitude, but he interrupts her, requesting she share her aspirations. Taken aback, Edra admits she hadn't anticipated such a reversal. Red, brimming with enthusiasm, suggests they discuss their ambitions and dreams as they proceed. As they walk, Edra divulges her objective, to reinstate her family's former position as the royal scepter. Intrigued, Red inquires about her meaning. Edra elucidates that the royal scepter is a title bestowed upon a magical lineage by the reigning monarch, charging them with overseeing magical research for the kingdom's betterment. For generations, her family, the Arfallen family, proudly held this role, bringing prosperity to the kingdom's people. Edra expresses profound pride in her family's legacy. However, she recounts a tragic incident from a decade prior. Her father, the family's leader, was defeated in a contest for the royal scepter, resulting in their family's exile. The current royal scepter, she reveals, exploits magic for personal enrichment by supporting the knights and nobility for his own benefit. Edra vows never to forgive him and pledges to do everything possible to reclaim the title of royal scepter, utilizing it once more to bring joy and support to the populace. She concludes, "That is my aspiration." Red is rendered speechless. Noticing his reaction, Edra comments, "It's a juvenile ambition. You can ridicule it if you wish. I don't mind. Instead, Red grasps her hand, his excitement overflowing, and declares, I'm enamored with your dream. Aiding people and bringing them happiness through magic is the most wonderful dream imaginable. Releasing her hand, he adds, let us resume our mission. Abruptly, a skull lands before Edra, startling her. She notices other skeletal remains of adventurers who attempted to pass this point but perished. Red calls to her excitedly, indicating a substantial quantity of mana metal he has located. Edra is shocked, stating that such a large deposit of mana metal shouldn't occur naturally in one location. It appears as though someone deliberately amassed it there. As Red tries to gather some of the mana metal, a colossal dragon materializes, ready to strike Edra down. Red swiftly intervenes, rescuing her, but the dragon wounds him in the process. Red inquires about the creature's nature, and Edra explains it's a legendary magical dragon rumored to inhabit these ruins. Red deduces that the dragon must have been gathering the mana metal and eliminating the adventurers who ventured there. Despite his injuries, Red rises and prepares to fight the dragon. Edra tries to dissuade him, cautioning that confronting the dragon in his condition is reckless and potentially fatal. Red counters that they cannot obtain the mana metal unless they defeat the dragon. Edra insists on retreat, stressing the risk to his life and that this isn't his burden to bear. Red disagrees, stating, it is my responsibility. I am captivated by your aspiration, a dream that will bring joy to countless people. Protecting your dream is now my obligation. Overwhelmed and flustered by his words, Edra is left without words. Red transforms and prepares to attack. The dragon, however, strikes first, attempting to eliminate them. Red utilizes his turbine to evade, explaining his need to deploy his secret weapon. Edra, frustrated, exclaims, if you possess such a thing, use it immediately. Red, dodging the dragon's persistent attacks, explains that activating his secret weapon requires a strong bond of camaraderie. He turns to Edra and asks, will you assist me? Edra hesitates, pointing out, we've only been acquainted for a few hours. Can this truly function? Red reassures her, we have adventured together and shared our aspirations. Naturally, it will function. Although still unsure about his fixation on bonds and connections, Edra consents, stating, if it ensures our survival, I will help however I can. With her agreement, Red summons his secret weapon, Kizuna Mecha, the ultimate robotic weapon. Edra stands beside Red in the Kizuna Mecha's command center, her mind reeling from the unfolding events. She mutters to herself, my mind cannot comprehend any of this. Finally, she turns to Red and asks, what is this? Red explains the weapon is the product of strong connections, but before he can elaborate, the dragon interrupts them with a fierce onslaught. The dragon's blows land furiously, and Red quickly realizes the bond between just two individuals isn't sufficient to maintain the mecha's power. To compound the issue, they have a mere 20 seconds to conclude the fight. Edra panics and questions Red's reliance on such a limited power source, warning of impending defeat. Red takes her hand and says, have faith in our bond of friendship. It will help us forge our future. With these words, he initiates the mecha's ultimate attack, delivering a devastating strike that obliterates the magical dragon in a single blow. Red stands victorious, celebrating their triumph, while Edra, still in shock, remarks, weapons from your world are truly frightening. The next day, Red returns to the Adventurers Guild to select a new mission. To his surprise, Edra enters the guild and announces her intention to become an adventurer. Both Red and the other guild members are astonished by her declaration. She explains to Red her need to study his powers firsthand. By combining his world's unique capabilities with magic, she hopes to create a revolutionary invention that could facilitate his return home and aid her in reclaiming the royal scepter. Red listens, captivated, as Edra speaks. Her words carry a trace of embarrassment as she confesses her desire to form a team with him. Touched by her resolve, Red confesses his feeling that his arrival in this world was destined to lead him to Edra. Her face flushes with embarrassment at his heartfelt words, especially when he adds that she is the only person who has offered to help him return home. Edra is so profoundly affected by Red's sincerity that she stands frozen, incapable of speech.